Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
So there's this plane, and it carries the rocket under its wing and then releases it. It's a 747, and they have to do some crazy maneuvers in it. They have to pitch up at a really high angle. Is the rocket reusable? No, they just launch it into space. Honestly, there are very, very few reusable rockets right now. SpaceX are pretty much the only ones doing it. It's 2021. Why are we still using shit rockets? That's a very good question. We're working on it. Are we? Are we, Eric? Are we working on it?
Yes.
Well, Shiver's here. And Eric's here.
I'm joined by the Chinese dictator.
Oh, look, it's
Pooh Bear.
Oh, what the hell's his name? I was gonna just go for the.
I know it, but I'm not stupid enough to say it when they're only about 20 miles away from me.
Yeah, we're all here. So I pose we're working on this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the relay station.
We're not working on reusable rockets.
No, you are now.
Worst intro
Not
ever.
taking that on.
Look,
It was the best intro ever.
I feel incredibly sick right now and probably shouldn't be doing this. So the best intro I could do was transcribing what Eric and Shiver.
Transcribing our conversation.
I transcribed Eric and Shiver's conversation immediately before we went live, and that was it. So that's our intro. So hello.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Griffin.
Hey, Griff. Yeah. So welcome to the relay station. God, I don't even know what we do anymore.
Well, I can tell you right now, we have a lot of stuff to cover in this show. So
Yes, we do.
lots of stuff happening in Star Citizen right now. Quick notes. In 3.12.1, Delamar and Levski will be vanishing mysteriously from Stanton to return to their home system. On the lore side of this is first of all, they don't belong in Stanton. They're not. That's not where they are supposed to be. And secondly, they needed to free up some resources on the servers so that they can put in.
Look.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
I'm going to explain this once. See this thing? It's called an hoodie. It's like a hoodie without the H. And I got one for Mrs. Eris, and I got one for Mini Eris for Christmas. I got them each one. And then Mini Eris is over at her dad's. So I put this one on, and I'm never taking it off. She can go buy her own for a new one when she gets home, because this is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn in my entire life. Everything okay there, Shiver?
Yeah, I am not going to be one of those people that lets you watch him eat on stream.
Oh, that's fair enough. Anyway, I love this thing, and I don't even care that I'm on stream in a giant blanket.
Why would you?
I don't know, self-respect or something. I think that's a thing that some people have. Clearly not any of us,
So-
but, some people.
Do you know what you really need to complete that look?
What's that?
One of those fucking bow ties. That would complete the look.
Anyway, they needed to free up system resources for Orison and the Aaron Halo and the Akiro cluster, which all need to still go into Stanton. And turning Crusader into an actual gas giant instead of a fake one.
Yeah.
So losing other things that we've already experienced, but gaining new things that we have not.
Eventually.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember when he wore a shirt and tie?
No.
I have a sneaking suspicion. This is my suspicion. It is not confirmed by anything or anyone. But my suspicion is that once we get server meshing, it's likely we're actually going to get Nyx and Pyro. That's my feeling.
It's a good bet.
I hope so.
The main landing zone, the main landing zone in Nyx will already be there, as will the main giant asteroid.
The question's going to be how far away is
Server meshing?
server meshing. Also, thanks for the host, Soul.
I'm gonna
Soul
say it's anywhere
citizens.
from. I'm gonna say it's between 6 and 60 months.
It's a good guess.
Yep.
I'd love it if they do it in 3.
That
Want
would
to
be
put money on that, Shiver?
No,
Oh my.
but there's going to be some CIG programmer who just hears that and he's going to be, I'll fucking show you.
They're going to be like, oh, yeah, I know how to do that. Like the chickens. Damn those chickens.
With the chickens?
Yeah, the chicken heads to solve the bobbing head.
Sure.
Do you remember when
All
they
right.
were like watching?
I
video of
remember. I
chickens
remember. I remember.
chickens
Also,
with their bobbly heads.
Xenothreat is in PTU right now, so it's coming soon.
I'm still. I've got to admit, I'm still sort of unclear on what Xenothreat is.
Stanton's being attacked.
By whom?
Someone.
Xenos.
But what do I so? And I suppose this is actually a problem that I've had with live events in almost any MMO, quasi MMO, whatever. What do I do about Stanton being attacked?
You go and attack the people attacking it.
Why?
That.
I don't know, to defend Stanton.
Because you're a good guy.
Because you're going to get paid money for it,
Okay.
in all likelihood.
Meta
The way
reason
that- the
to
way that
help
it's gonna-
test and build the game.
Also that.
That's a good one.
If anybody's wondering how you actually get this, like how you actually participate in it, it will show up in your just in your missions as a priority mission as soon as you log in once it's live.
Thanks for the host, Griff.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm interested once it hits live. I'll try and hop in, see if I can make heads or tails of it. See if I can figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do.
Sounds about right. That sounds
I
right,
mean-
Outlook.
I would imagine the first iteration is going to be very basic of, wave attacks or something like that.
Probably.
I'm confused. I mean, I know that there's not much else that they can do, but if Xenothreat are anti-alien fanatic humans, why are they attacking Stanton? There are no aliens there.
I mean, technically, aren't all the humans there alien because they don't come from Stanton?
Ah, good point. Good point.
Good point.
Using logic against me, I see. All right. I want to flip over to this.
amazing what
Hope
a Big
this
Mac can
works.
help.
Oh, I don't want to do this one yet. I want to do this. There was a really good episode of Inside Star Citizen this week. With honestly some really cool shit.
No, it was terrible. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I kind of I had a bit of a moment. I had one of those Star Citizen moments today, when I was watching this thing.
Like, that looks really good.
It already looks really good when they start this video.
I
They're
know.
like, hey, we need to make this look better. And I was like, really?
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, hey, we can just, we click 2 buttons and it populates us,
Things. Well, first
Anything we want.
they start off with showing that they can make deform the terrain. This is really important, by the way, because they weren't always sure they were going to be able to figure out how to deform the terrain on the planets.
Yeah.
Because the planets are not made in a traditional way, because you have to have a whole fucking planet instead of just like a 20 by 20 kilometer area.
I really like that they can add the noise as they will and chain, like it's a circular depression, but but they're able to like add noise around the sides as they will and make it look as natural or man-made as they want. And I think it looks it's also really going to help when they're adding outposts. They can just flatten the ground around any outpost, which sort of makes sense because in 99% of the cases in real life, when you're building something, you level the ground before you build it.
Yeah. I from somebody who spends a fair amount of their life wandering around the bushes of Canada, anywhere they've built something, they first came in there with a grader and flattened it first.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to build something on slope. So here we go. Here we're into the river placement test. So this is just so everybody's aware. I'm going to give the same disclaimer that they did. This is all code based. None of the art is done or even really started. So this is all design and coding right now.
But it's really, really interesting coding because
Yes.
one, the ease with which they do it. Two, I thought it was really interesting that each node puts an arc forward and then finds the lowest point in that arc and goes there. It's a very smart way to programmatically do what water does naturally, if that makes any sense.
Grammatically.
Programmatically. Not grammatically.
Pragmatically?
Procedurally?
Procedurally?
I don't know. I'm inventing words, okay?
I also really like that they can easily put in tributaries like this, and then it actually recognizes them later. Like it actually knows there's tributaries.
No, actually, look, even in my brain deadness, programmatically is used to refer to tasks that can be done in an automated way using programs, especially as opposed to tasks that have to be done manually by a person.
There you go. You nailed it.
Yeah, but come on, it
Shivers.
does sound like a made-up word. I mean, I suppose all words are technically made up, but...
All words are made up.
No, programmatically.
Like Sunboat Soldier.
Yes.
Anyway.
I honestly had no idea it
Wasn't
was
that a Bob
word.
Marley song?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely a Bob Marley song.
Sunboat Soldier. It looks great.
So it's showing
And
here
there's
that
rivers.
it's showing that it carves out like a hole in the landscape and then a channel down the middle for the actual flowing water. So that's the terrain deformation part, by the way. So they started by showing us, hey, we can deform the terrain, and that's the part where they actually use terrain deformation in here.
And again, no art has gone into this.
Nope.
This is just a programmer being like, and then I click this button and oh look, trees, because it should be more lush around a river. I'm honestly amazed by what this adds to the planets. Water is nice. Rivers are... I'm
Hard.
one, rivers are hard, but two, like you're looking when you come to a planet and you don't know where anything is on it and there's no landing spots, you're looking for landmarks, right? And one really easy landmark that people have used for as long as there have been people is you follow rivers, right?
Yep.
and it gives people something to follow, and I think it's really gonna add a lot to the planets. And this is a normal river. I'm also kind of excited to see what sort of like spacey alien weird rivers they come up with, you know?
Yes, and I wonder if they're going to try and figure out what the hell happens in a low gravity river. Oh.
Shiver,
like,
what do you think? Are you excited by rivers? Oh, hello.
Thrilled by rivers. No, I do like the idea of rivers, and the way that the engine works as well. They'll be able to put force into the rivers and all this sort of thing, so they'll
Yep.
have a little bit more of a real feel to them than just, effectively a moving image.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really curious to see. I mean, they already look all right. I'm really excited to see what happens when Art gets their hands on that.
I'm honestly I'm excited to see when we get like riverboat tours. Like you can sit down in a little dinghy and float down the river for a couple hours.
No, you just land your ship on the river and then float down the river with your landing gear up.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, this is exactly the tools and tech they need to make 100 planets.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
And they need things to be this easy too.
this is so. I mean, they can't go and individually place thousands of rivers on hundreds of planets, right? So the next step is they have to find a way to procedurally generate, pick a high point, and then
That's coming. That would be coming later. So that they have that whole biome thing, and they
Yeah.
would probably be able to program it into the way the biome works. That it will start a river here, in these spots.
I mean, they've got to figure out how to do it manually before they can even think
Yeah.
about
yes,
how to make it automatic.
yeah, no, this is
Programmatically.
it's a word. Don't look at me.
I'm not doubting you. You looked it up because I pissed you off so much. You looked it up, but it doesn't sound like a real word.
I have a question. David.
What's that?
This is totally unrelated to Star Citizen, so it's a perfect time for it. Can you pause and like move around in this video
I cannot.
in Streamlabs Pro? Oh wow, they lose features from OBS. That's interesting.
I didn't know you could do that in OBS.
It's a new feature in OBS. I was all excited because I was able to do it.
I mean, that's a damn cool feature.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it'll come to.
Right? Are there multiple
Streamlabs
types
soon.
of videos? Maybe that's what's.
Maybe I haven't played around. This is sort of just what I always do. But there might be another way to do that. I haven't looked at it.
Cool. All right. Should we move on to whatever is next?
No,
after
I think
Rivers?
we're done. I don't
Oh,
feel like
okay.
moving on.
All right, cool. See you next week.
Later.
All right. I'll stay with you guys and talk about the roadmap because they're leaving.
No, we got more media to do. We can't hit the roadmap yet.
I have to go to the roadmap, don't I?
Oh, jeez, did that change? There we go. So another thing that they talked about a bit this week was they did a combat summit,
Summit. Yeah.
trying to fine tune and fix space combat, which
Well, what this really is a plan for the coming year. They do this all the time in January. Like, what are we going to do this year for space combat?
yeah. I
And yes,
wish that they'd
Oh,
had
sorry.
more information on what was actually decided in this
nothing. Well,
segment.
that's what they were saying. They hadn't decided anything. It hadn't even finished yet.
I
it
know.
was
I
ongoing.
know, but I want this segment, like, do that segment again when you're like, here's what we're gonna try and fix.
Well, they are
Yeah,
going
but-
to do that.
They're gonna
Good.
rather than saying now this is what we're looking at, this is how we're thinking of doing it, and then someone saying 2 weeks later, oh, you promised this but you didn't deliver this, they're quite sensibly looking at what they can do, how they're going to be able to do it, try it out, and then if the spaghetti sticks to the fridge, they're going to be like, so this is what we're doing. And then if the spaghetti just
have you ever actually thrown
squelches its way
spaghetti?
down, no one knows.
I have thrown spaghetti. I tried it once just because of the idiom.
Did it work?
Yeah.
I feel like when it sticks, it's too cooked.
This is what you're going to concentrate on and take away from this. Is the spaghetti.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No,
Shivers is this close to quitting at this point.
realistically,
Who are you? I don't believe you're Eris. You're an imposter.
That was amazing. That was the best one in years.
It's not even spray yet.
That was good.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
excited to see what comes out of this. I want to hear about an FPS combat summit.
Yeah, they got it. Well, and they also need to communicate what the hell's happening with Theaters of War.
Yeah, we haven't had, to my memory at least, we haven't had an update on FPS mechanics in a while. There was,
There's been stuff, but it's all been like,
Body dragging and stuff like that.
cover
and they're
mechanics and body
looking
dragging and things like that.
there's been a bunch of
Medical tier
updates on
1
like
next.
and there's been some updates on like enemy AI, which is good.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to know what's being done about like the feeling of it though, if that makes any sense. But
No, I get you.
I want it to feel like an Udi.
oh, you have no idea. Honestly, cannot more highly recommend Onudi.
Do you
They
ever
have
get
a
the feeling you're on a
they have a sale
podcast
right
with someone
now.
who's got ADHD? Because I do.
Is it you? So I don't
Oh,
look.
no.
I'm pulling your leg.
I
Are
wish
you?
I had a leg to eat.
You have legs. What to eat?
Yeah, you're not Nitro.
Wow.
Okay, so
I'm
there's
gonna
one.
say.
There's one more. There's a most exciting thing that they showed off this week, which is even earlier than the rivers. But as Mudtruck I mentioned earlier, well let's just
Terrain
look at this.
deformation. Oh, no,
Terrain-
okay.
Terrain deformation is nice when it's in tool sets, but when you plug it into a grenade launcher and have, again, this is just programmatically, there's no art done to this, but terrain deformation,
And they're only playing around with,
Yeah.
with this. They're not sure what they're going to do with it yet. But it shows you immediately what they could do with it.
the one thing I want to take from this, the thing that I think would be best, and I don't expect we'll get to like Red Faction levels of being able to mine caves everywhere in a planet. Like they'll probably have
Nope.
they'll have a minimum and maximum that you can deform
Yeah.
the terrain, but
Yeah.
I think will really make battles something special, right? If they make it so that when you've got a massive land battle and you've got carpet bombings and you've got tank shells and you've got, torpedoes hitting, it will look like a battlefield after.
You can
Or
take that
could.
one step
Yes,
further.
absolutely.
Because all that's very cool. But then afterwards, you've got the people who are going to go in salvaging, seeing what they can get. And you can literally use those as cues to go and explore there. Like, there's this massive crater there. Let's go and see what was in there. And that's, that's a pretty cool thing.
There's a massive crater with a bunch of scorch marks. Let's go figure out what's going on.
Well, and one thing that's
Exactly.
always been interesting is these shipwrecks just sitting on level ground, right? What happens when we start getting shipwrecks that are embedded into the planet because they've deformed the planet around. Again, it's super early.
Yeah.
This might and full caveat, this might come to nothing. They might look at this and say, "There's no way for us to really.
Too expensive.
It's too expensive. It's too. We're not going to use it." And one of the things we have to keep in mind when CIG show us stuff that's this early is to not make any assumptions about where it's going, because look at how people reacted with Golf Swing. Look at how people reacted with early look dev on oxygen leaving rooms and stuff. This might not happen.
Hey, you know what's really cool about this?
What's that?
The little clouds of dust that come up every time he fires that thing at the ground. It looks really good.
I'm really excited for this, and I'm really excited for what this whole episode sort of leads to, at least in my mind, is just roads. If you've got a tool that can automatically pick a path for a river and deform the land where you need a river, well, guess what? You can click from one city to another and automatically path a road. Go ahead, Shiver.
Do you remember, it must be years ago now, they actually did show the procedural road tool. This must be the iteration from that. So, yeah.
I think it would be the iteration from that, but I'm excited to see it be like brought out as roads again too, because we've been wanting roads for a long time, right? We want to see that traffic, the question
then remains, from both a gameplay and mechanical standpoint, of what's the point? Yeah, sure, it looks nice and all that sort of thing, but just looking nice, it drains resources. There's got to be a point to it if it's included, and in that instance, someone's going to have to sit down and say, do we want this GTA style where players can steal a car, own a car, and so on?
Sure. I have to. So I was yelling actually at Jake earlier this week, shortly after the monthly report came out, because
this happens a lot, by the way.
It happens a lot. It's sort of what we do. In that monthly report, there was a line that really struck me as like, why? And I don't remember word for word the line, but it was something along the lines of more work done in Squadron 42 on food and drink in the cafeteria scenes, so that as NPCs are sitting there in the cafeteria and eating their food, the food on those plates gets smaller and smaller and smaller until they finish their plate and they finish their drink. And I was looking at that one bloody line
and being they've been working on that for a while, actually.
So, I mean, if it's a question of realism,
maximum immersion, my friend.
Yes, sure.
I have in fact got two answers for you. The most boring answer is you've got this universe with all this detail in, and then there's always going to be some player who's like, where is everyone? And then the food's in exactly the same state, and someone's going to say, well, But then the second one that comes into exploration of, let's say you do come across a vessel that's just adrift in space, very Mary Celeste, and then you can ascertain, it's part of an investigation. If the food is completely full, then they fucked off in a hurry. Something's gone down here. If there's no food on the plate, then it's a very small thing, but it's something that could help with an investigation. I'm probably pushing it there, to be quite honest with you, but
I mean, to be clear, I love it. I love that they're doing it. Oh no, our question doc link is broken.
Okay, we'll make a new one then.
We'll make a new one. For now, just ask questions in chat. We'll work on fixing that. Sorry, guys. It was working last
I'll probably
week.
have a new link in just a few seconds.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. I really like that they're doing it. It sounds just like such minutia that
Here you go.
I don't know. I love it. Can you guys talk for just a second? I need to
I will talk for 7 seconds.
7. Wow.
I'm not sure what I'm gonna say, but yeah, for 7. No. So it's not about gameplay. It's just about immersion. It's a single player campaign, right? There's a ton of details that go into single player campaigns that are little tiny things to make you feel like you're actually there and you're participating in this thing. Hello, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
We're talking about how about food disappearing from plates and how it's maybe a little overboard, but also probably right in line with everything else Star Citizen has been doing for Squadron.
Maybe it doesn't work when Station Mod does it.
I will try it right now. There you go.
Okay, cool. That should be the new link there. Look at that, fixing things on the fly.
We're good like that.
Jake, have not yet
David?
tried Xeno. Yes, Eric.
We have to move on to the roadmap,
Yes.
or we're never going to get through it.
Yeah, we do. Okay. You're right. There's a lot
Let's
this
see
week.
what I can exaggerate from the roadmap for you, Elwook.
Well, Jake, I wish
I
you were on.
I can't believe the BS shivers going up right now.
Jake, I wish you were on this podcast so you could tell us all about how good Xeno is.
Awesome. It's only on the PTU, and it was only 3 hours today and 3 hours tomorrow. I missed it because I didn't realize it was so limited. But
I will play it, Jake. When it hits live, I will play it. That is, I will play.
Should be soon. Okay, that's what it said in the thing I read, Jake. That's all.
Okay. I believe last week we finished with modular. Yeah. So here we go. Planet content team. Also,
Ooh.
remember
I like
how
Planet content.
remember how like 3 weeks ago, I don't remember whenever it was that this came up. Our first show this week. Last week? I don't even know. Last week. It must have been last week. God.
Hey, David.
Days ago.
Time is a
David?
Yes, Eric.
Thank you for streaming in 1080.
See? I fixed things.
It's much easier to read it this week.
I think it was last week, I guess, that we were like, this 1 quarter, 2 quarter stuff is cool, but what about a full year view? And look, there's a full year view now. And I'm really happy.
Jake works for us now.
Technically everyone at CIG sort of works for us because we pay them. Jake works for all backers. Okay, let's go through Planet Content Team. Yeah, thank you, Jake. Stanton System Polish.
Polish.
A couple months of that.
Well, we
3
said that.
months-ish.
Yep.
That's going to be. This is just for Elwook. Someone is literally going to go into the game itself with a specially procedurally generated brush and polish, and make sure every square inch of building and scenery is literally polished.
Yep. They're going to use Xeon wax.
Yep. I get that reference.
I would just like to know if this is going to have to be extended, as they'll now have to start adding rivers.
Can't polish a river, it's made of water.
Technically, water's a rock, if you ask Eric.
No, water's a rock when it's frozen.
Yeah, he said it was a mineral, to be exact.
Minerals are polishable.
I didn't say these things. I was told these things by highly reliable sources. Anyway,
we had a big, long discussion about whether water is a rock.
No. You laid into Eric about
Yes.
how water, it's impossible to be a rock or some bullshit. And I was like, fuck's sake, Eris, just leave the man alone. He's not the person who made the report. He's not the scientist that made it. And you got fuck all in the way of PhDs. I'm believing the guy who reported it and made a full fucking paper on this and proved it.
Oh man.
That
Anyway.
sure is fake news.
Harvest and minables. Harvestables and minables, sorry. 45 weeks. So we're adding the first. Hey, Jake. Harvest. We're currently reading adding the first iteration of Iquos looting and Arsquos. This involves spawning weapons.
Arsquo looting.
Arsquos. Bottles of water, med pens, and clothing at various locations. That's pretty cool. So let's go on to Stanton asteroids.
Replacements for the asteroids currently in Stanton. That's good.
Yes. The asteroids in Stanton actually aren't bad, and they've gradually gotten better, but they could use a full-on like swap. I also think the non-mineable asteroids are a lot worse looking than the mineable ones, so that is also a problem.
Did they ever determine if asteroids are going to be deformable?
No, they're not going to do it.
What's the difference between an asteroid and a meteorite?
A meteorite has entered the atmosphere.
Oh.
Jake, it was harvestables, minables. Under planet content team.
Yeah, it's harvestables, minables under planet content. Yeah.
We're submitting bug reports. Does this mean we're avocados?
Yes. Well, actually, there is an avocado hoodie, and you're not wearing it, so that's a problem.
If you freeze an avocado, does it become a mineral?
What?
If you freeze an avocado, does it become a mineral?
Yes. I don't know. No, I'm guessing not. Anyway, cave improvements.
2 new cave. There it is again, Jake.
I got another one. Okay, you're having problems here, Jake. It looks like it's an issue with left and right quotes in the roadmap.
Fixed for Wednesday. Way to go.
So this one is cave improvements. There you go. Good thing you're watching us, hey? So these two these improvements are basically adding a skylight entrance. So this is where you can fly your ship down inside, and also an entrance to a cave where you can drive in with a ground vehicle. So allowing vehicles in caves. What will they think of next? Is it apostrophes that are given the problem? Okay. I think David just...
I have an answer to what they're going to think of next. Next, they're going to think of caves in vehicles.
Sounds good to me.
Say
no. They already did it. They already did it with the 890 jump, like weird water feature thing they had for a while, where they actually did have like a cave-looking thing inside the
grotto.
Yeah. I think they got rid of it though, didn't they? Anyway, I think they got rid of it during a rework. Miscellaneous support we can skip over. Nyx 2, I'm curious about.
All tasks relating to the implementation of Nyx 2.
Okay, so we don't really need to talk about any of these.
Need bats, guano, and millionaires with abandonment issues.
Sounds all right. They have to make sure he's got spare parts, though.
Important here, though, speaking of bats and guano, this Nyx 2 cave stuff, Nyx 2 includes the creation of derelicts, wrecks, and unique flora and fauna. That I'm
good with that.
Excited to see.
Now, is that just what they write on every one of the planets?
I
So
don't
go
know.
take a look at the other two of them. Let's look at Nyx 1 and 2 after we look at the Sharp Angular Asteroid Pack.
Creating and implementing sharp angular asteroids.
Excellent. These are probably for the Pyro system, I think.
It says that, yeah. Nyx 1, perfect. All tasks relating to the implementation of Nyx 1, a coreless planet that was abandoned after being mined clean. derelicts, abandoned outposts, caves, and unique flora and fauna.
Interesting.
Nyx 3.
Well, there's a little bit of difference in the descriptions. Okay.
Nyx 3, an ice giant lacking a breathable atmosphere or any valuable minerals. Sounds like my
Wow.
ex-wife. Oh,
You don't have an ex-wife.
I know. I'm tired.
You don't even have a wife yet. You can't have an
I
ex-wife.
don't.
Let's check out the
Sounds like
next one.
Auntie Jenny.
Oh, does anybody have anything to say about the Nyx system? I mean, I'm interested in it. I'm glad it's being developed.
Yeah, I want it to show up. I want to see it. I
More locations are better.
yeah. Especially. Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
The fauna. I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. What kind of AI system they'll implement, if it'll have the full-on the AI system that is intended to be in there, or if it's just going to be a waypoint system to simulate that it's doing something.
I'm guessing the first implementation will be pretty basic.
I want to see how much, like, how many unique floras and faunas will there be per world? I mean, if I look at something like No Man's Sky, one of the problems I always had was, okay, you've landed at a new planet and there are 3 varieties of animal, and that's it on the whole. Like, give me more. I would like. I mean, we don't need hundreds, but a couple prey species, a couple predator species, a couple like scavenger. Like, give us a gamut.
We want a gamut.
I want a
We
gamut.
also need.
I
also
want them
need
to
insect.
programmatically create a gamut of creatures.
Fuck. All right. Pyro system planet and mission setup.
Completing the initial foundational work needed to implement the pyro system.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then we got 2
No-
unannounced.
Yep.
Unannounced.
Notably, these are under the planet. This is under the planetary development team, so there is
Yeah.
probably going to be some interesting stuff here.
And they are late in the year, so
Yeah.
we'll see when we get there. Squadron 42 art.
So most of the Squadron 42 stuff we can zoom through, but there's going to be a few items in each category we can talk about.
I mean, improving assets for building out space stations is important, regardless of if it's for Squadron or Star Citizen, because it's going to port into the PU eventually anyway.
You'd imagine so, yeah, for sure.
Archon Station is I mean,
Ooh,
that's
I
the
like the
full
name.
year.
Power overwhelming. No?
Breaker's
All right.
Yard, environmental location hidden in Odin 1. Derelict Damage Pass,
Ooh.
improving derelict damaged assets. That's good.
Yeah, good with that. Should be noted that at least for the moment, all of these are noted as only being developed currently for Squadron.
Yeah.
Some of it may eventually be seen in Star Citizen, but there's no promises here.
Yeah, anything that
Hemloin.
can be recycled and saves time.
Absolutely. I just
So
don't want anybody to like absolutely guarantee that it's going to cross over because it specifically says it won't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
True.
You
Fair
can
point.
you can think that some things, like maybe a large space station like Archon in a large nebula like thing like the coil will make it in. Like, I can't see the coil not being in the PU.
The coil will be in the PO.
Sure enough,
They've
but-
already confirmed it. Yeah.
It depends on whether or not, specifically for the station, civilians will have access to the same sections that you had when you were in Squadron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or if the station's even still there at the end of Squadron.
but if it's not there at the end of Squadron, who knows? Maybe
Maybe there's a
there'll
giant
be
debris
some-
field there.
yeah, exactly. Jake, just so you're aware,
Um,
the chapters all seem to have apostrophes in them. So,
Okay, there you go.
Gainy.
Chemline.
Yeah, sorry,
Chemline
Chemline.
has abandoned extraction facility by Chemline Solutions on Gainey.
And then
And yeah, it looks
Gainy
like the
is
chapters
Odin
are
1's
messy.
former moon.
Oh, cool.
Drifts
Man,
near
it actually. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, David. Go ahead.
It's all good. Gainy is Odin 1's former moon, and it drifts near the remnants of Odin 1, and I am really excited to see that.
Also, it probably gets bombarded by a lot of crap. So I'm very curious to see what the implementation is going to be like for that.
Polish pass on environmental assets around the outer system. The Bengal.
Ooh. The Bengal carrier. Our old friend.
Hello, Bengal, my old friend. Please.
So this is just a little bit of artwork that they're doing. It's only 4 weeks. I would imagine that a lot of the ships in Squadron are probably in a pretty mature state, but there's always still a little bit of work to do on them. Probably will be right
Especially
up
when
until
something as
release.
massive as a Bengal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bengal's enormous. They've been working on it forever.
There's a couple more here: Asiedo, the Idris, and the Xi'an Cargo that we're gonna sort of skip over. Art passes on them, but Planet Organics here, decent 2+ month chunk, for further extending and polishing assets required for populating multiple places of interest located around Odin.
Excellent. Gimme.
I'm excited to see what that is. Yeah. Okay.
I think that Jake was saying I think it's lighting regarding the Bengal, which would make sense.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, that's a big thing to light. Okay, next bracket here. Yeah. Level design, FPS. All just the chapters and all.
Is there anything in those?
Apostrophes? No, I think they're all basically the same. It's just a breakdown of the times.
How do you think, given everything that's going into AI and things like that, and all the things that are going to be implemented into FPS, how do you foresee FPS sections in Squadron 42 itself? Do you see this as like Doom-style corridor shooting, or do you think you'll have AI teammates in a squad with you?
Both.
I think AI teammates in a squad probably. Actually, but I think you'll have both. But I think that there's a lot of that. It's the whole idea behind it is that it's a Chris Roberts game. So there's a lot of the relationship building stuff going on with your teammates and squad mates. And so I think that you'll probably have a fair amount of team play even in FPS, especially given how many FPS chapters there are.
I think given the angle of design they're going for as well, they don't want to give the player the impression that they are the savior of the universe, Doom guy kind of thing.
You're a low-level member of the military.
Can you form a romantic relationship with a Banu?
I mean, of course.
Good.
You can form a romantic relationship with your refrigerator if you want.
Refrigerator, no, but my new freezer is sexy.
Don't
Frost
fall, Harris.
21
your freezer is a cold-hearted bitch.
21 cubic feet, frost free, 5 shelves, 6.
How many bodies can you fit in it?
Depends on the size of the body.
That's a good answer.
Thank you.
Doesn't even flinch. All right, let's zoom through here a little bit.
Yeah, so level design. I think we're going to skip all the level designs. American or Canadian bodies.
Oh, God.
Okay, Systemic Services and Tools Team. Quantum Simulation.
Yay! Yes, please. Can I have it now? I want it. Give it to me.
So interesting. I find this interesting is that you've got a year or more of engineering on this, and you've got one guy that's got
Six engineers.
six engineers,
Six engineers.
for
And
a
one guy
year.
with design who's just like, I'm going to show up for a few weeks.
1 month. I've got 1 month to design something.
Yes.
This is important though.
I mean, isn't that kind of the nature of the system? No, it's like we want a background simulation. This is what we want to happen on X, Y, and Z. Go make it happen.
Yeah.
And then probably,
Also,
hey,
it is.
at a certain point, hey, we've managed to get this. Now what? Oh, do this, this, this. The designer walks away, right?
It's not. It's not because the idea behind it is not a particularly complex one. It's more, this is we want team A over there, team B over there. Do this, do this, do this towards the end goal. This is what the end goal is. We have a clear end goal. This is what you're going to be making. This is how you're going to be making it. Okay, cool. I'll fuck off and go to a really fancy coffee machine and move on to a next task that needs directing and needs my overview more. It's not like you're saying, make a game. It's far more concise, precise, and has direction.
Thousands of unseen simulated entities will carry out trade, commerce, piracy, and security to populate and inform other game systems.
So, just wanted to mention to anybody, this whole team, this whole section is 20 Zervex team.
I know they say that you can't just add more developers to make things go faster, but add more developers to Tony Z's team to make things go faster, please. Thank you. I'm trying to think of anything that I'm more excited for to see than the Quanta implementation.
But I mean, technically, you're not really going to see.
No,
technically.
you're not. And that's exciting.
And what I would like to know is, what at some point there is going to be somewhere in the world something where you could see what the fuck's going on right now in the simulation. I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I would genuinely like to see, what that view is. It's behind the curtain, as it were.
I would
I-
think it'd
Tony
be cool.
Zurabek just sat there going, redhead, brunette.
Oh,
that's a good reference. I like that one.
okay, we got
Right.
bug fixing and tech debt and miscellaneous support, which we'll skip. NPC character creation service, which will aid in the creation of AI at specific locations for specific reasons, such as the quantum simulation. So I guess that will be the thing that, for example, spawns the janitor to clean up the thing that you broke.
Yeah, when Shiver decides to shoot the space station and knocks over all the coffee cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or spawns the pirates that are attacking me for the 18th time, making me
That
rage
never
quit.
happens.
You have just given me a great idea for my pirate group. Not interested in your money or your cargo. I want your coffee and your coffee machines and nothing else.
That's gonna. People will fight to the death for their coffee. ATC
And yeah, like my
There's
truck
a-
says, more homeless when the economy is in the system is bad. Things like that. Yeah. The
ATC
response to the living simulation.
or more wankers when it's rich.
ATC service.
Another one we can skip. We touched that last week. Air traffic control.
Yep.
Dynamic mission system.
I
Will
personally
allow-
think it should be called. They should call the ones in space traffic control.
I mean,
'Cause
they
there's no
probably
air.
should.
Dynamic mission system. So this goes hand in hand with quantum. Really, plugs into quantum. and we'll build missions based on what's happening in the PU at any given time.
I like that it's like one engineer for like 3 days in January.
Yep. He's just like, oh, I'll work on this for like Wednesday to Friday this week.
Yeah. AI info service. Currently, Odin and other backend tools that display player or NPC locations route through Elasticsearch, which is CIG's analytics pipeline. This process is naturally slow, and the amount of high-fidelity data we need to track is low enough to make a separate service practical. This new service will continuously track the position of players, NPCs, and other entities so that our live service tools can display them properly in real time.
That was written by Tony Zervek. or with a heavy influence of Tony Zervek.
It was originally the entire roadmap was just a briefing on that.
I mean,
Yeah, right?
Some poor bastard had to go in and edit it.
one thing I'll say is all of these descriptions are fairly concise, and then we got to this one,
Right? That's why I said that.
and I feel like for this, like Jake was probably handed I don't know, a 42-page thesis, and been like, thanks, Tony.
Give me a paragraph. Anyway, recipe TDD.
TDD. Polish pass on economic systems, commodity trading, item prices, etc., to provide a better overall experience for players. That's important because ships can't cost. Honestly, ships probably can't cost as much as they should realistically cost for a spaceship because you'd never be able to afford one.
Also, thank you for clarifying that because TDD means something different in my brain. Apparently, it means technical design doc, according to Jake. Uh-oh. I always worry when I get a... Okay. So next up we have the security service. So the security service tracks and records actions of players and NPCs. In turn, bounty hunting gameplay will use this service to expose the actions taken by outlaws so they can be tracked by bounty hunters. So, Shiver, this is pretty cool.
Yes.
You're
I was
just like,
absolutely
yeah.
paying attention and not reading the chat.
Yes. Okay, I'll read it again then.
Please.
The security service tracks and records the actions of players and NPCs. In turn, bounty hunting gameplay will use this service in order to expose the actions taken by outlaws so they can be tracked by bounty hunters.
I hate it. I don't like it. I don't want to be tracked. No.
I thought so. That one's going to be 30 weeks this year with one engineer. Next up after that is virtual AI service. 17 weeks with 2 engineers starting in May. A service that drives the logic of virtual AI. The go-between of subsumption AI and quanta AI. So this is when you need to basically, as far as I understand this, it's basically when they need to turn a quanta AI into a subsumption AI. So this would be that sort of handshake, I believe. That makes sense to you, Shiv?
It sounds absolutely right, yeah.
NPC
Goes hand in
schedulers.
hand with the NPC creator as well. Because all of that would have basically
absolutely.
a very small file saying, Captain Red Shirt doing this, objective here, and then that is handed over.
They build the NPC,
What's the fucking word?
Not sure what you're trying to get at.
My brain don't work.
Why brain no
Rendered.
work? Rendered.
Rendered.
That makes
and
sense.
then the cargo it carries, its mission it carries, and then
Next up
It's
is
that-
the
it comes it comes with the beauty of this is the data forge, because you've literally just got these stored files, and rather than have to constantly recreate something and then hopefully have an automated service to delete it, which is horribly inefficient but easy. The data forge, it just goes, go to this line in data forge, go to this line in data forge, and it's quickly, easily read. It's a brilliant idea, that.
Next up, also tied into this whole idea, the NPC scheduler service. The NPC scheduler is meant to add and remove NPCs to the game, dynamically spawning them into and out of the verse based on the NPC archetype, the maximum number of NPCs in a given area, and the probabilities of those NPC archetypes. Yeah!
They would have to, I would imagine as well, have a hierarchy of NPCs to play and player ratio in there as well, because if you've got a particularly important NPC that needs to be there, but you're already at the limit, you need to start culling these unimportant NPCs.
Then you need some NPCs to walk into the spawn closet and go away.
Well, and it's also probably, I mean, your capital ship probably doesn't need to have the firefighter dudes running around in full firefighter kit when there's no fires. But when your ship is hit and there are fires breaking out, okay, well, let's spawn a bunch of people to fight these fires in the firefighting.
Wouldn't it be weird if the firefighters didn't exist on your ship until the fire broke out?
Well, I don't think they will. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
Well,
will they?
Easiest, yeah, but this is Star Citizen.
I don't think I don't think on a ship is what they're really looking at here, because it would be kind of jarring if you have all these people who just never exist in your ship until something happens.
Well, I think the idea is they exist, but I don't know. They
don't have to be.
Firefighters are normally the crew anyway.
What I would say is here's what I'm thinking. So, your firefighters, right? They obviously are going to be found in the location of the fire when there's a problem.
Yeah.
And whenever the player can't visually see them, they won't be actually spawned into the ship.
Yeah.
But they will still have a schedule that they go through, and if the player walks by where they're supposed to be at that given time, then they will spawn in again.
Spawns them, but it's not going to spawn them in the middle of a corridor. It'll probably spawn them in a closet and have them walk there, which is what this would do, right? Like,
yeah.
Because, and I'm mainly thinking of this because, I mean, an Idris, even an Idris having what, like, how many people are on an Idris?
What is an Idris? Oh, I think they're talking about like 100 in Squadron, like for the Idris in Squadron.
Having 100 characters be populated at all times is ridiculous. Having the 1,000 of a Bengal, not gonna happen, right?
Yeah, it's apparently Mudtrucker says it's 80, so yeah, that's about right.
So, dynamic population.
Yeah, go ahead.
All milestones that need to be passed in order to implement dynamic population in various locations around the Elskoverse.
The Elskoverse, nice. The probability, volume, encounter, density, I keep trying to say refractor. It's refactor. So the dynamic population thing is sort of something Tony's been talking about forever, which is the people who make up the population change based on the conditions of the landing zone.
Okay, Shiver.
Probability, volume, encounter, density, refactor. Gotta love that.
Pvedkur. Shiver, I'm reading this. I'm reading this next one. And I'm really hoping you can translate it for me because I don't get it. A C++ star service that uses the normal game tech to read the data core data, whether that be in binary format or loose files, and exposes it via a diffusion API.
Yeah, that's gonna be a Shiver thing if anybody actually knows what the hell that means.
Shit. Okay. Okay. Reading the data in one format somewhere. Let's say I have this set of data over here. I need to have this data rendered in the game and put so it's there. You can't use this data that's here. You can't use a notepad to run a fucking game, but you could write. This is all. I'm just saying this. I know you can't, but you can't write a game. No, you can write a game code in Notepad, but Notepad's not going to run a fucking game. You need something that's going to say, well, this is how this works, and this is the language here, a translation thing to put it into game. It's basically saying, I'm taking this language here, I can understand this language, I'm translating this language into a language that can be used in game. How's that?
Oh, cool. Sure.
Okay, Eric, can you translate what?
No. We should probably touch on probability, volume, and counter density refactor first. So probability volumes are currently hard-coded and static. This refactor will allow us to have much more control over how probability volumes are created from the back end so that we can dynamically change the feeling of the game through services like Quantum. So this is sort of, again, a core competency for Tony Zurvek. He wants to have Quantum and the dynamic, universe server, or you know what I mean, the universe server control probability volumes in the game. So like, what are your chances of running into a pirate in this area? What are your chances of running into a cargo ship? What are your chances of running into a Bengal carrier eating another Bengal carrier? That type of thing.
So, reading all this and thinking about this, I think there's something that CIG really need to put out a statement or get out in front of before it hits them.
Bengal carriers eating Bengal carriers?
No. One of the funding goals that was hit was private servers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think they need to get out in front of the private servers will not be the universe.
No. They've already talked about it before. They're like, whatever we put out, it will be significantly scaled down from the full game because you just can't. It's just impossible. Can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't run universe simulation on your PC.
Okay, Eric, do we have any questions on the new?
We do. Well, we don't have a new document. I just got a new link to our old form.
Oh, okay.
Still
so I can still load that up.
That's how I was able to do it so fast.
Okay, that's fair. I'm just thinking because we've got 18 things left to go through.
Mm-hmm. 18 things. Wow.
Hang on, I'm stuck in 2017.
I am endless.
That was an interesting time.
Okay, there we go. Did we want to? How many? We're not going to get through these tonight.
Yeah, there's pretty much no way. So let's switch over to questions. It's kind of funny because there's an update coming up. There's going to be more of them. And we'll get through the roadmap by the end of February.
Yeah,
I promise.
Well, one problem that I foresee when this update comes is for us is where were we? What got added? Did things get added to the actor tech team? Did something get what? How do we track what gets added and what we have to talk about? Anyway,
we've already yelled at Jake about this.
I know.
He's working on it.
I know. I know.
No, I was just telling the rest of our audience that we need a way to track what's changed.
Okay.
I know they'll tell you on the roadmap thing, but it would be nice to visually be able to see it. That's all.
Let's do these
Can
questions.
you make it, Jake, especially for Eris, just Eris, that when something new is added to the roadmap, it literally says, "Look here, fuckstick, this is new."
I'd
that would be entertaining.
I would accept that. Mudtruck asks,
All right.
will you try Xenothreat on the PTU or wait until live? Eric, Shiver?
I was 100% gonna try it on the. You know what? Honestly, I didn't realize it was still in PTU, so I just jumped into the game and I was like, okay, it's not here. And then I went back out and I'm like, oh, it's in the PTU. I don't have time to download the PTU before the show starts, so, but I would probably try it in the PTU for sure.
Hey there, Hopstar. Hello from Canada. For anyone questioning what I'm talking about, it's a person on YouTube. Hello.
Hi YouTube.
Hi YouTube.
We have 7 people watching on YouTube right now. I'm honestly astonished.
I did not ever expect that, to be honest. Okay, so this phase runs until 3 Eastern tomorrow. That's a fair amount of time.
Nice.
Personally, I'm going to wait until it's on the live branch. I don't want to spend the time downloading the PTU, honestly. And I like things.
One of my issues right now is I don't have a very good combat chip right now. But I'll just go shoot at it with whatever I got. Maybe I should take the Carrack just for shits and giggles.
Jake, believe me, I will. I hopped into the thing over the holidays with the
stuff.
The stuff. I hop in when stuff changes, okay? Elwook asks, is David's sweater only possible by means of OCS, or is it more of a server meshing thing? It's only made possible by socks. So.
Yes. Server-side OCS.
Thank you. Thank you, Shiver. Thank you.
I hate you because I like that one.
Hey, Hopstar, yeah, we did actually discuss the removal of Levski briefly.
Yep.
Basically, just it's gone. It's being removed in favor of stuff that actually belongs in the system, which is good, and hopefully, the core tech required to get us jump points so that we can go back to it in the future is good. I think it was Shiver that put it best in my mind of basically saying removing content we've all seen to add content that is new.
Yeah.
Which I like.
And
with the knowledge that the
hopefully-
content that's being removed is coming back.
Yeah.
So eventually.
Yeah. Hopefully, that's what within a year, it'll be back and in its proper place and accessible by players.
Cross fingers. I think everybody hopes so. There's a lot of stuff riding on server meshing right now.
Yep.
They basically have run out of the ability to run the game on they have a hard time expanding much more based on their current servers because they can only run the whole thing on one server.
Yeah.
At a time, I mean.
It is needed. Mud Truck.
And
sorry,
yeah,
and
Mud Truck Crusader can be added. Orison, the Aaron Halo, and the Kiro cluster.
And they could put in a stopgap measure of the same thing that traditional MMOs do of, server jumping literally to a new area. So you could have Stanton on one server, Levski, Orison, and everything else on another server, but why put in the effort to make that work when you're already working on something that's going to be a different kind of tech anyway?
And will be much more relevant to the way they want the game to work.
And as Jake says, like the jump points themselves are probably going to be large, right? There's going to be stuff around the jump points. There's probably, I don't know, fuel depots around the jump points, like stations.
At least
trading
the ones in Stanton have actual infrastructure around them for sure. So that's also the thing.
How big do you think the actual structure around the jump point will be? Do you think we'll be able to actually get out of a ship and walk around the structure that surrounds the jump point itself and have this rather cool, unique view? Or do you think that's all going to be just like one solid thing? And
I think it's going to be I think it's pretty quite large, and you'll probably be able to explore it. I might not be very interactable though.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just like the idea of I've got this quite unique view of a jump point from the jump point. That would be quite cool.
I would
I
like
don't
to know.
expect it, but that would be cool.
What ships go through?
Yeah,
I
just
would
ship
like to
spotting.
know what happens if I try to go through as a person.
Really bad.
Wouldn't the speeds involved tear you apart?
I don't
physically?
know. Would they? That's the
Probably.
question.
You don't have a jump drive in your body.
Do you
That
need
too.
Do you need a jump drive? I guess yeah.
You can't.
Like you need a,
You
you
can't
need a jump
jump
drive
in
in order
space,
to.
Eris. You're white.
I think you need a jump drive in order to interface with the singularity.
Okay,
So
I'm
you
still
probably-
interested
I don't
in
even-
what happens if I float through
That's
the singularity.
that's my question. Do you just like go through and you don't actually get into the tunnel, or do you just get ripped apart?
Yeah,
Like,
these are questions that are going to have to be answered.
Oh,
Can
well,
we
that's-
push you into a singularity and find out?
Yes, Mudtruck asks, can we pressure someone in CIG to show the differences in the roadmap from last update, like Odysseus Ithaca's roadmap? Look, we pressure
We just
CIG.
did.
No, hang on. We pressure CIG on a lot of things. We ask them for updates for where Theaters of War are. We ask a lot of them, and this is so mundane and so trivial that I don't think we should be badgering CIG employees because they've got lots of better things to do than listen to us ask for small, piddly programmatical changes to the roadmap.
except we've already asked for this specific programmatical change to the roadmap.
No, you're getting it on the fucking act.
Oh dear lord.
Look, it is now my new favorite word, okay?
Mudtrucka asks, whatever happened to the underwater caves on Yella? I'm pretty sure they're still coming, but they had to get caves and then they needed to get watered working better, and I think that they'll be there eventually. Put it that way.
Time will tell.
I would imagine with the stuff that was shown in Inside Star Citizen last, that tech is going to be extremely useful for something like that.
Probably.
I really wonder the limits on the deformation because the whole planet's just a mesh, right? But like,
Yep.
how much can they deform the mesh? And then could they, in theory, bring the mesh under the mesh and then under the mesh? Or would that, like, what can they do?
You're meshing
they
with
actually
my
make
mind,
it-
man.
Can they actually make a cave using it, or do they have
Yeah.
to use their caves that they've built?
Well, that's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering. Like, can they make actual caverns in the mesh? I don't know. Like, theoretically, that's
Question
Right?
marks? I have no idea. Got nothing.
I don't know.
I got nothing, man.
I've also got nothing. It's one of those, like, I have no idea how the engine works and handles things like that. But I mean, I guess it depends. Well, because it should be able to tell where you are on the planet, even if you're under the planet, because I already do that with caves. So it shouldn't matter that you're on a surface under the planet as part of the mesh. I don't know. The future is interesting. That's all I'm gonna say.
Shiver looked like his brain was melting there for a moment. I think his eyes crossed briefly.
I don't know. I feel like this is another one. I don't know where the dude that came up with that is from, but it feels like another one of those, like, oh hey, yeah, welcome on board, everyone from Crytek. So sorry that Crytek were bastards. Welcome to CIG. So here's sort of what we've been thinking, and we're hoping to someday maybe look at procedural planets. Oh no, it's done. We did them.
Yeah,
for
we
you.
can do that.
It's done.
Why
Oh.
is he Turkish?
Also, yeah, why would that was a German accent? What the hell is going on there? Oh boy,
I don't do accents. I've never done accents.
I'm concerned. Yet you try anyway.
At least mine are so shit they provide
Uh,
amusement.
Have I ever provided anyone any amusement? That's not why I'm here.
Yes. Yes, you have.
Shiver is here for amusement. Eric is here for knowledge and intelligence, and I'm here for.
What you need is a
Nothing-
joke book that can make jokes for you on the fly. Can someone programmatically make you one?
That's not a word. Programmatically is not a word, Shiver. It's programmatically. God, get it right.
Oh, programmatically.
Wow.
I got another word for you. It's only 4 letters.
So we're out of questions.
Boo.
So I'm just gonna. I want to go back to a couple of interesting things in the
Close.
roadmap here. One of the things in the next section we were going to cover is the Hangar Manager app V1, which will create a MobiGlass app that gives users the functionality of the current ASOP terminals, so that it allows them to spawn ships and claim insurance and
Do you guys hear that?
oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to go turn that off. Want to know what it is?
Yeah, sure. It's a machine. Yeah.
It is. It is a machine. So for Christmas, we got our cats a little tiny fish that when they bat it, the tail goes.
Okay.
And they do that, and it is really loud through the floors. So I'm gonna go turn that
Apparently.
thing off. I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. So,
Can't tell you what I thought it was.
what did you think it was?
I'm going to say I thought that was a bedpost.
Yeah, me too. So
I got a quick question for you
what's that?
from Mud Trucker. How is the funding going so far this year?
Oh, that's actually a really interesting question because I haven't looked. Although I'm guessing spectacularly, given how it went last year. But that thing's hilarious. That looks like a real fish. What the hell? Oh man. Oh my god. Shiver's just like biting his tongue so hard right now.
How about that funding, huh?
Yeah, right? Funding is going very well so far this year. I don't mostly because of my own oversight. I haven't put in a sum for January yet, but they are making an average of over 100 grand a day, even though there isn't really much by way of sales. So,
Why?
like well over 100 grand a day. So they're doing quite well still. They're on this like winning streak that goes back a very long ways.
Yeah.
I would guess that they're probably sitting. Oh, well, I can do a quick calculation here. Can you guys
Yeah.
vamp
mean-
for a moment?
Eris,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to happen with the funding when Squadron 42 releases? Do you think it's going to be a huge influx? Or do you think it's going to be less than they expected, but more than they hoped?
I don't think it's going to be huge. Star Citizen's been around for a long time. It's something that a lot of people have known about for a long time, and quite a number of people have already bought into it. I expect that when Squadron launches, it's going to depend a lot on how it launches. If it launches like something like Cyberpunk to mediocre, well, I mean, if it launches poorly, it's
That's
not,
a really weird comparison to make because it's like the record holder for most sales of any game ever in the history of the
yes,
world.
but a lot of that was pre-orders. A lot of
I
that was
know.
people buying it before it
But
launched.
Like 80% of it was 80% of it was on PC though.
I know, but also hold on, because the problem is that Cyberpunk had the advantage of the hype it had built. People know of Star Citizen, and they've already got their preconceived notions. The only way that Star Citizen is going to launch well is if it launches to 9 on 10, 10 on 10 reviews, and
Yep.
all those people that said, oh, I don't care. It's it's vaporware. It's a scam. Whatever. See that and go, oh shit.
I should
I think
probably
it's
play
gonna.
this.
I think it's going to depend a lot on that. If they don't get that really good right off the bat, people are going to continue to say it's a scam.
Part of it's going to depend on marketing too, since they actually have set some money aside for marketing, and how effective their marketing is. Sorry, go ahead, Shiver.
Mud Trucker says, is Squadron 42 so niche that most of the people who would buy it already own it? I would say no.
No.
Because there are people, even older than me, that played Wing Commander 1 and won't buy into early access or pre-order or anything like that because it's just, why would we do that? And that's fair. That's fine. That's completely fine. But when Squadron 42 is fully released, there'll be a chunk of those people who go, right, it's out. I can literally pick up this game and just play it. And there are people who only want the single Squadron 42 player experience, and that CIG themselves have said they want to make that into like a franchise of its own because they're already planning. Is it the sequel they're planning, or the expansion that's already in the works?
It's sequel.
At the same time.
Sequel.
A sequel, because it's going to be a 3-chapter game.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think?
trilogy. It's a trilogy.
Yeah, and people who were in the Kickstarter early enough have already got the second game included with their Kickstarter, which is great for them. But I think there is a chunk, a significant chunk of people who are just sat there waiting for Squadron 42 to release, who will pick up Squadron 42 when it's fully playable and released.
Well, and there's only, at best, maybe 1 million people who own. No, not even that. That's how many people own Star Citizen. So, several 100,000 people who own Squadron at this point. If it's successful, it'll sell 5 to 10 million copies, somewhere in that range.
One of the drawbacks of it being a niche game is that there will be reviews that just dismiss it and just say it's shit, because they'll get someone who's a platform gamer to come in and review it, because this kind of space game is not a common genre.
Yeah,
you could name a handful right now. The Star Wars Rogue Squadron, X Series, Elite,
and Wing Commander.
And Wing Commander isn't even modern.
No,
so
not at all.
you can't really be. You can say I'm a fan of the genre, but it's like being stuck in the desert and saying you're a fan of water.
There's Everspace 2
There ain't
now.
much out there.
What was that?
Everspace 2.
Oh yeah, Everspace 2. Well done. Yeah.
Is it like a narrative single player thing though, or is it just go around and you shoot stuff?
Narrative single player.
Really interesting. That's cool. So anyway, I have an answer for the question. So we're 23 days through January. They've made $2.8 million. That's going to amount to somewhere in the range of 3.5 to 4 by the end of the month.
And that's 1 month. All right.
And that's without any sales this month of any note. That is for January. Spectacular. Yeah. That's basically where it's at. Comparing it to 2020, which I should definitely do, considering 2020 is the leader. 2020 in January they made $5.2 million, so maybe a little bit behind that so far.
Still good,
but far ahead of any previous year.
It's good. I think they're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think they're fine. Freelancer was an amazing game, straight up.
The Freelancer is why I bought into Star Citizen.
Yep, me too. Love that game to death.
Yep.
But yeah, we didn't really talk much about this, but the brief mention I had of that Hangar Manager app, I think it's going to be really cool to be able to access all those features, the ASAP terminal, so like spotting your ship, claiming insurance, that type of thing, and also all the landing services just from your mobiGlas, and not having to go to those terminals.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That will be nice.
Well, it also
and will also make more sense.
Well, we will. I believe we are at some point supposed to get our own hangars.
Yep.
Right?
You don't believe that. You know that.
Yeah. We are supposed to get our own. The question is, how many of your own hangars do you get at some point? But we are supposed to get our own hangars, which means we will have to have a way to spawn stuff in our own, like, to access those features in our own hangar, right?
Yep, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have just put an ASUP terminal in there, but I guess they're like, we don't really like them. We're gonna make a multi-glass app. So I wanted to mention something. We're at 1 minute left here on Star Citizen Live. We did find out that the graphics team, apparently in the last month, delivered a whole slew of major improvements for characters in Star Citizen. They were very non-specific as to what they are. They are not, like, we're definitely not seeing them in the game yet. And but apparently they really made the characters look a lot better. They were Jeremiah Lee was salivating over the improvements that were made. So I'm hopeful we'll see that at some point soon. And another big thumbs up to the guys in Germany.
Yep.
Guys and gals in Germany, I should say.
You should.
Yeah.
All right, well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you all so much for watching and listening and tuning in, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube or your foot. It's been great.
What?
I think you'll find there's only one Star Citizen podcast that actually you can listen to on the foot, and that's Soul Citizens.
That was amazing.
Wow.
We had very quickly before we go. We had one question from YouTube. Predictions on what we'll get in 313. Any thoughts? Any ideas? Any suspicions?
I haven't even. Oh, God, no.
So is the fact that they're removing Delamar and Levski in 312.1 an indication that they might need that for 313?
I don't think so.
Like the room and the resource budget? No,
I don't think so.
not even for the Air and Halo or something like that.
Well, I mean, it's not listed in locations right now for 313, right? There's system polish,
There is.
non-commercial overlays, new
Oh, but we do have a
asteroids,
313. Okay, yeah, never mind.
and cave entrances, right? So it's
Yeah.
not listed in there right now. I don't think they're gonna surprise throw it in.
Yeah,
I
there'll
think
be something they surprise throw in, but it won't be. It's unlikely to be a location. You're right.
yeah, I think it's probably just they're coming. We've got to make sure that this doesn't break everything. Figure out how to do it, and
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those, like, how do you take your band-aids off? How do you remove the
Clone-
duct tape from your mouth?
How do you move
You-
what, from your
you-
mouth?
Duct
You-
tape.
You remove it quickly and then scream.
Duct tape.
You know you can buy a... Is this why you've got a beard? Because you've been shaving with duct tape for years, and then you're like, no, this is too painful.
Isn't that how it's done?
No?
Oh.
Oh my god, that was good.
I guess I'm gonna have to go back to just rubbing my face with butter. That's the other way, right?
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Come on,
Thanks
Shiver.
for tuning in. We'll see you next. Oh wait, no, Shiver. What do you got coming up?
Go, Shiver.
Wednesday is Vampire Masquerade Victorian Age. It's going to be fun. Yeah. No butter.
No butter. That's disappointing.
No.
Join
Over
us
on
on
twitch.tv/Table of Horrors.
yeah.
We've got merchandise now.
Join us Tuesday at the same time for a game show, and join us
Yeah.
next week at this time for more
This show.
foot butter.